Greetings, beings. Red J here, back with your Tarot by Tribe series for the month of April. Really appreciate you all tuning in right now, and wanted to wish everyone a happy new astrological year, and also happy birthday to all Aries people. Hope you have a wonderful year. This is an M for Mature Audiences Only channel. Please only be watching it if you are a legal adult where you are, and that you are also okay with strong messages and language. I channel messages, and I also do interpret other tools that I use here. I use 5 decks to do these readings. And the front end of my videos is usually devoted to channeled messages and me preparing the space while I am getting ready to read for the specific tribes or signs. My guides speak to me in tribal elements. And so those terms are actually interchangeable: tribe, sign here on my channel. There's going to be 4 videos that will have each of the different elements, and there are timestamps underneath each of the videos in the Show More box that will let you tab back and forth to the different tribes. And I recommend seeing your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign to get the best view and possible, awarenesses to keep in mind for the next at least couple of weeks, because I will come back in the middle of the month as I've been doing. So if you don't know what your moon or your rising signs are, if you just look online for a free birth chart, a lot of places can do that for you. And then just come back here and take a look at those other signs too, because that'll probably help you. And I do recommend doing that. I always find that I get more messages from myself if I'm looking in all those places. And also keep in mind too, whether or not something seems like it's making a ton of sense right now. This is, the end of March while I'm recording these, so they're actually for the month of April, and, the messages could even go out further, just depending on what's going on in your life, and who you are, and how you're really composed. These are general readings, so I'm going to do my best to interpret the energies that are being shown to me in the most succinct manner possible, and read for a potentially very broad audience. And I'm going to just ask that you use your own good discernment and judgment when interpreting for yourself. You're going to know if something is resonant or not. And if it isn't, sometimes it might just be situational awareness. File in the back of your mind if you want. See if it becomes relevant at some point. I like to have information accessible like that because sometimes it just helps me understand what might be going on in the periphery of my life. So that's how I recommend using these. Always defer to your own intelligence. If you need a closer zoom, there might be other professionals that you need to look to in your life. And if one of those professionals happens to be somebody that can do intuitive guidance readings, I would love to take a personal look into your situation. You can read all about how I offer my private readings at artoflove.me and clicking services up at the top. There's going to be a link here in the description box of my video, but I do several different types of private readings that can actually be very specific to help people fine-tune energies and understand things that might be kind of hidden beneath the surface. So hit me up for that if I can be of assistance. Or also if you're looking for a prayer, you can hit me up at prayer@fatheroftribes.com. Visit the same website too, artoflove.me. There's a little welcome mat that'll greet you when you come, and you can even type it in there. That comes to me, and I'd love to pray for you. So there will be 5 decks that I'm using. You'll see me shuffle them once this intro is over here. One is to look at the general sort of archetypal energy for the time period. I use Carolyn Mace's archetype cards for that. When we look at the physical material realm, I like to use the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck. For the mental sector, we use John Holland's Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. And then for the romantic, and sometimes not romantic, but more personal sector, I use Doreen Virtue's Romance Angels. And I like to seal them all up with a prayer, a little bit of practical advice and a tip from Archangel Michael with the Archangel Michael deck. So that's what you're going to get from me, and I will catch you on the inside of your readings. Greetings, Air Tribes. How you doing? Happy April to you. I'm hearing some of y'all might be dealing with, it could be a lot of things right now. There's a Venus retrograde going on, and we're hearing a lot about returns of exes, of course. But I'm hearing Aries. They're saying you might be dealing with an Aries person. or even have Aries somewhere strong in your own natal constitution. They actually got this card. I just finished the fire charge reading. You might want to check out that. I would recommend, if any of this is like pinging for you, check the channel section too, especially if you're dealing with anybody that's got fire in their chart. Wow, I didn't even look at that before. They're saying something. They're reminding me of what just came up in, I think it was the Leo. I think it was the Leo video about the past and about there was something coming up about a misunderstanding that went way wrong and a reconciliation that should happen or could happen for good reason. And there's some strong cautionary notes, of course, anytime with like returns of exes and like deception and repeats of karmic patterns and stuff like that. But I was just looking at what was underneath this when I lifted it up for you, and they were telling me that you might want to check that Leo section too. I think it was Leo. Check the fire charges video if this is making sense to you. But there was some kind of message coming up about, they just keep saying it the same way, something that didn't happen. And they were showing me somebody that almost walked away or that did walk away or started to walk away that was going to be glad they didn't walk all the way out because they were saying something didn't happen. And there might be like a need for conversation. And they're telling me to hold this one up here too because this one actually came out. This Triumph card, like, really wanted to show itself while I was clearing the space here just for air tribes. That's aka your Chariot card if you were referencing like your Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. I'm just going to start shuffling while I'm talking now. If you're new to my channel, I do the shuffle and I do it once for all three tribes. And I lay them down backs up until I'm ready to read them. And I just share these messages like I'm doing now. But what I was told, though, is that they were saying some of you all just need to know that whatever is going on, especially if there has been some kind of, they were showing it to me like, somebody just like not knowing what to do. And I kept getting this image. It came up with the fire tribes, too. So, some of y'all just might relate to the sentiment, even if you don't have fire in your chart or, have fiery element people that you're dealing with. But, they were showing me images with, like, it was the Eight of Swords, like Rider-Waite-Smith style tarot. And, they were showing it to me there under a different context. But if that card conjures up any sort of like sentiments within you that seem like, something you're connecting with, you might want to check that for other messages. But they were saying there it was more to deal with a certain kind of meditation people were doing to connect with a loved one, somehow dimensionally, whether it was like calling in like 5G relationships, long distance relationships, or somebody that literally like crossed or anything like that. But they were saying in your case here, it's more about you needing to really know and have confidence in the fact that now are Midas times. Those are the words I was hearing, Midas times, like the Midas touch. They were saying something about it just being a really important time for you to realize that your thoughts are making things happen, and in some cases literally like pulling things out of the air. And it's good for you to know that. And you might want to look up if you're, a lot of times, we hear things like Midas and, we have an idea of what it means, but I'm being told some of y'all should maybe just like go look up the deal around who Midas was, what it means to have the Midas touch, and kind of some implications, because they're saying it's going to help you realize how much control you have over things and where some of the blind spots might be, because Triumph, I don't know, they're saying it's forthcoming, and so the thing you don't want to do is feel disempowered. And they were showing me that Eight of Swords card here, with that sort of like cautionary note, just saying, you know, you want to know that even if you're feeling a little bit maybe insecure about what directions to take, you have a lot more control than, you know, maybe some of you are initially giving yourself credit for. And they're saying some of it, I mean, for really good reason. It's, you know, you've had some, I'm seeing a shitstorm, and they're telling me some of y'all just need to like make a decision to take ownership of your joy. And for some people, I mean, I'll be your big brother here and just say, it's like shit or get off the pot time for how it is you allow others to come and influence you or push you in different directions. And, you know, sometimes people are like, oh, but it's not easy, or that's easier said than done. And that is absolutely true. And I know that for a fact. And also knowing that, I also know that sometimes we kind of let ourselves get away with having that attitude, and then finally it's just really about getting to that point where it's just like you're just done, and then it's like, oh, you know, you made the decision, you're like, yeah, that wasn't easy, but why the hell didn't I do that like 6 months ago? You know, I let myself get dragged through this, like, whatever. And they're saying for some of you, you just need to know you've got a lot more power under your hands than maybe you're giving yourself credit for. This person knows what they're doing. They've got their flag. They're like ready to plant that somewhere too, you know. And the cautionary note with it too is just also make sure that now that you know that, that you don't get like too cocky about it either, because they're saying now's a really good time to pay attention to details and make sure you got enough sleep, and that you're really kind of paying attention to details is what I'm hearing. And it's kind of weird. I was just laying down the first round of cards. We're going to go Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. When I did, this was facing up at me. I was getting image of this when I was preparing the space for the fire tribes. And they were saying something about people's calling in, like, just partners, you know. And so, I mean, that could very much have to do with that whole soulmate thing. A lot of people are focusing on that. I think a lot of times when people come to my channel, or, you know, tarot channels or anything, they're kind of looking for greater insight into relationships they're dealing with. And I'm just hearing about people really kind of hitting it from a more conscious standpoint, and just knowing that the things that you've been working for, they're coming together, even if it seems like it's been slow. And I don't know if anybody else here is noticing this, but this happened to me last Mercury retrograde too. We're like in a shadow period right now. It just went in, I think, on Monday. The 27th is the 28th while I'm recording this right now. But it was kind of like people were approaching their plans with a little bit more foresight because of awesome things like tarot readings and energy readings, and having the ability to kind of have a little bit of an anticipatory vantage point over what types of things could potentiate, right, as we're stepping forward. And it almost kind of like precipitating an early version of whatever the Mercury retrograde conditions would have later demonstrated, right? And so they were showing me people that were kind of like taking it on in like little chunks at a time, like, oh, you know, this might happen then, and like just not trying to be like too like creating drama for themselves that isn't there, but looking for places where now that they know how things tend to unwind, they can stop things from happening in advance, right? Like taking a very proactive sort of vantage point. And I was just hearing that some people right now just need to know that everything that maybe has been feeling kind of convoluted or weird that got kicked up, some of that was like the eclipses doing you. I mean, it's a weird way to look at it, but, you know, I kind of thank the eclipses. You know, the eclipses last year kicked my freaking ass. They just kind of kicked my ass again here, too, recently in some ways, where things happened that were just like, holy crap, blew my mind. And it's always a surprise, right? And now, as I'm like getting closer to this like Mercury retrograde, and this is me talking from my Aquarius sun vantage point, I relate to many of you in this kind of airy, cerebral way. I'm really grateful that some of that stuff happened, because there were time investments that I have been, weighing out myself, that now I can pay better attention to in ways that are helping me, anticipate anything that could go wrong in my life, that in some cases I'm feeling like I'm getting too early. And so I'm just being told that, I'm very overanalyzing this for you in some detail, because some of you don't realize that on some level you've gotten conscious of yourself in ways that you hadn't been before. It's more integrated in you, where you're kind of just not realizing yet how well you've been adapting in advance, right, preemptively, to cosmic conditions that you're feeling. And part of that is because you are opening up to your psychic senses. And so some of you need to realize that if you're feeling disadvantaged in some kind of way right now, it might be because you kind of got like the early onset of the Mercury retrograde / cosmic karmic cocktail that the solar, these eclipses that we just have, the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse, it threw things off, and it was a good thing. And I'm being told that some of you are going to realize that some of the stuff that you've been like doing right now that's maybe been kind of sucky, it's leading somewhere really good. Keep it in your mind. That is a great card. They're also saying some of you might be dealing with Cancerian people. Sometimes that comes up for Cancerian people, month of 7, aka the Chariot too, that Triumph card. So you could have some sort of implication on that as well. So I was just feeling like real important for you to know that, because they're saying that some of you just need to know that, because it'll make it a lot easier for you to kind of own whatever joy you can have right now without being too self-critical. Because they were saying for some people that's like a really big challenge right now, is just feeling like, like you don't know what to do, when the truth is that you've actually been doing a really good job sorting it out, and it just kind of doesn't feel like it, because you've been mirroring early effects of what people usually sometimes get slammed with during some of like the retrograde cycles. And so maybe think about it like that and try to give yourself that lens. And they're saying get out and have a good time too. They're saying it's a really good time to just enjoy the spring if you can. Go out and celebrate time with your friends if you can. And they were definitely showing me something about social mixers for people that are looking to call in that soulmate. And I'm hearing like different ways to extend your friend circles, especially through like mutual friends or friends of friends, or parties or things that you might get invited to. They're saying it's a really good opportunity. And for some of you, we were just hearing about, if you're somebody that's looking for second chances with an ex, now's a great time for social gatherings. And they're saying if you just put yourself out there, it might be really easy to at least encounter that person. And they're saying for some people it might not go like, hey, you hook up with your ex or whatever. You might. In other cases, it might just be a good opportunity to kind of like interface with that person and allow that moment to just be a lighter version of whatever it had been before, so that it's like the karma just kind of is diffused, especially if it was tense before. Because they were showing me just like somebody just kind of being like this every time they're around this person in social settings, and just being like, I don't want to be around him. I kept seeing like that little cat, the little cat video of the cat does like this, and just being like, totally perturbed and like freaked out. But they're saying that it's like things have changed, And this is cool. I just laid down this deck of cards. I was, oh wow, okay. This is really cool. I don't always look at all of these. I was shuffling the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. This is the Aquarius card. 17 Hope. This is AKA your star card. That was just facing me. They're saying things are going to get better. This is what was underneath it. Rejoice in celebration. AKA your 3 of Cups. That's like people having a really good time. Sometimes at parties and celebrations. And here's what was really cool. This was what was sitting next to it. As I had shuffled the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot right before, and there's the 3 of Cups. So 2 indications of the 3 of Cups here. 17 Hope, or Aquarius. And yeah, they're saying it again too. I'm hearing something about, like, they're saying something about it wasn't real. There was a third party situation, but they're saying it's going to, like, undo itself, is what I just heard. So I don't know, for some of you, if you've been having a weird situation that had something to do with 3 people, or maybe something that you thought was triangulated, I'm hearing in some cases there might be some hope, and that the situation might have reversed itself, is what I heard. So I guess you'll know if that shows up true for you or not. That just flew out. Very soon, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. They're saying for some of you, it's really about expressing yourself properly. Express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. Yeah, I'm here. Put yourself out there. And if you're looking for somebody, they're saying there's a lot of hope. They're saying you might have some really good friends. I'm hearing you might have some friends that can help you call on somebody good. There's some strong water element there. It could be something to do with people that have strong natal constitution in, one of the water tribes like Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. If that's not you yourself, they're saying you have a lot of ways that you can make yourself happy right now if you'll just let yourself go and enjoy yourself. So I think it's a good idea. Alright. This is the last deck I'm shuffling now. A lot of cards just flew out. And well, that's funny. So I just say, decide to be happy, or take control of your joy. The one that was facing, because there's several here, says, decide to be happy now. That's advice from Archangel Michael for all of us. I'm going to just stop and pray on that. I'm going to deal these cards, and then we'll get to the more specific tribe reading. Alright, y'all. Just decide to be happy now. Dear Archangel Michael, thank you for helping me open my heart to happiness, joy, and bliss. I'm now willing to see all of the goodness in my life. Amen. Okay. It's always cool. Okay, so we're all dealt, got everything doxed up. I'm going to start with Aquarius, I'm going to go Gemini and Libra. So What's up, Aquarius? How you doing? It's gonna light a little bit of sage here for you. We had a bunch of messages showing up in the channel section, and actually, your card on the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck showed up on the front end with some messages. So if you didn't see that, you might want to scroll back. Just gonna light some sage here for you. Happy April to you. I'm going to flip your cards. All right. Well, interesting cards here, Aquarius. Interesting. We actually just saw quite a few images of this card showing up in the channel section, so another reason to check those if you haven't. We're showing a lot of mental energy going on right now, and in some cases being told that there might be something that's keeping you up at night that needs to kind of have some adjusting here. And in some cases we're hearing that this adjustment is literally getting out of something that's not working. In other cases, it's about the cyclical thinking, because they're showing me, wow, maybe somebody's just having some love stuff, giving them some spins in their mind. And in other cases, we're hearing about people that might be leaving one relationship for another, and in some cases it's because they found out they're dealing with some kind of shadow character, Don Juan. And so they don't all have to go together, but there was a strong indication here for somebody about just finding out that somebody that they were involved with, I'm hearing might have been married or in another relationship, and just kind of like maybe not knowing what to do about that. And so for some, just jumping ahead here, they're saying, you're going to know what the unhealthy part is and what part to leave behind. In other cases, we're just hearing that it's the negative thinking about it. They're saying in some cases, this is about being over-processing in your mind, that's the unhealthy situation, is having too much mental energy that is making you feel imprisoned in something that's actually not a bad situation at all. There were messages about this on the front end, and in some cases it's about somebody coming back. I'm hearing, this is like a twin flame card for me a lot of times. I see that 1111. Sometimes these show up different ways, and I hear things, but I'm hearing it could have been something that seemed really karmic, and I'm hearing in some cases where somebody might have suspected some sort of trickery with somebody, but that it's not showing up that way, though. They're saying in some cases it's like totally legit. This didn't show up upside down, you see. It showed up right side up here, and they're saying that there's some romantic feelings here, and for some people, there were a lot of success messages coming up for y'all at the beginning, too. They're saying that, the worst thing is, just being too cynical about waiting for the other shoe to drop is what I'm hearing, and that for some people, it's just, this mental energy is just tragic thinking is what I'm hearing, based on what came before. They're telling me a lot of it has to do with somebody having felt like, they had some kind of Don Juan roll in that was just saying and doing the right things, but that they didn't trust it because it seemed too good to be true before, and it just not working out well, and having had to get out of it for some reason, and just not really knowing if they're willing to even like put their mind there, and they're just kind of like feeling a little blocked. But they're saying that for some of y'all, it's that mental energy that's like possibly, the worst part of your month, because it's kind of what you're doing to yourself, is what they're saying. Because I'm hearing for some of y'all, it's not a Don Juan in like a negative way. It's like, real romance is what they're saying. And for some of y'all, I'm seeing a getting together that looks fun. They're showing me a party, actually, and like two people that haven't seen each other in a while getting together and like remembering how attractive they were, is what I'm hearing. Wow, interesting stuff, Aquarius. You might have some cool things show up, but there's a lot of like soulmate messages that were coming up. And actually there was an Aries connection. You might have Aries in your chart, but there was something coming up about like, it looked like it might be like a reconciliation. There was a soulmate message that showed up in the Aries. I think it was in the Aries video too, Fire Tribes. You might want to check it out if it's making sense. But when the physical material realm shows up with a Wands card, and there's a lot of, possible connections between parties that have fire, we could know that this could actually be symbolic of an Aries person or somebody with strong Aries in their natal constitution showing up in your world. It doesn't have to be, but this is 4. Month of 4 is very Aries for me too, so could have something to do with that, but it could also be Leo, Sag, possibly. Okay, I'm going to read to you what the Don Juan card says and kind of break these down a little bit more, because that can't be for everybody. So we'll just take our time with these. For our archetypal energy for the first part of the month here, Aquarius, we've got Don Juan showing up. It's the Carolyn Mace archetype cards. The light and shadow attributes give us somewhat of like situational awareness clues as to how things might be playing out, or how people, including ourselves, might be tempted to act or demonstrate. This card says light attributes spotlights your positive, seductive qualities. Shadow attributes state using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. And so that might be what's like making people feel nervous. I'm hearing for some people it's like just when it starts feeling good, it's feeling good. This is passionate. If this is y'all, that's looking really good. That's looking victorious. If they're like high-fiving it, it's like, yeah, babe. They're all having a good time, right? There's romantic feelings here for some people, and, that's going on. That looks really good. And I'm hearing for some people, that's totally what freaks them out. It's like, it just feels good. They're like, last time, and so there was some messages coming up in the Fire Tribes about that too, about like, catch yourself, okay? If you're like, realize, I'm kind of cynical, because sometimes they're saying, you can kind of like almost cheat yourself at a good thing, but they're saying you're not going to get away with it right now, because some things are destined. I keep hearing somebody saying destined, and that for some of y'all, look, this isn't like a major thing for some of y'all, like, you're in a horrible situation. Some people, you might have very real situations to leave that have you nervous. This did show up. But I'm hearing from most people, this is really just about you being objective about that mental thing that you do to yourself when you put yourself through the agony and it's not real, and that's what they're saying. You have a little bit of control over this, and they're saying that you have a lot of power. There's a lot of power showing up here, and it's really about how you want to use it. So try to keep it in mind, especially if you catch yourself like agonizing over silly things, is what some of these guides say. I'm going to break down that Don Juan card a little bit with this book, get you a little bit more information on that. All right, Aquarius. So we've got some keywords, 3 bullet points, and a tip to keep in mind. Don Juan, Casanova, Gigolo, Seducer, Sex Addict. First bullet point says, can make us aware of falling into sex role cliche or misusing the power of romantic attraction. Second one says, underlying vulnerability and the power to open a heart capable of deep love can counter its negative aspects. The last one says, Shadow Don Juan represents a man preying on women for the sake of conquest alone. And the tip says, look for a pattern of sexual behavior in which the end justifies the means. And so I'm just hearing it's like a past like that has some people maybe a little paranoid about what's stepping forward, because it's kind of like just not knowing whether or not you can trust it. And, you know, that being why this mental energy is showing up. You're saying in some cases you're going to know if you perceive a real threat, and always listen to your guidance on that. You know, always take the proper precautions for yourself if you're feeling that. And they're saying checking into like your solar plexus, how you feel here, it's going to tell you something. And there's a really strong message about paying attention to your feelings. I know that sometimes is not what Aquarius people want to hear. I'm not your typical Aquarius. I'm Cancer rising. You might be able to tell. I'm a Leo moon. I'm a real feely kind of person. But, you know, a lot of Aquarius people that I meet are not necessarily like that. More cerebral and not really into like where they're feeling things. And what they're saying is this might be a really good time to open up your senses on that, especially if you're getting really mental about what's going on, what's going on. They're saying if you take a minute and just let yourself feel it, you're going to feel where it's hitting. And that might help you realize, you know, what the unhealthy stuff is, where you want to like wield that sword and cut shit off, and, you know, where it makes sense to maybe grab on a little bit, because in some cases, they're saying you might have found you a good dance partner. You know, I got a couple there. I got a couple here that match. They match is what I'm hearing. They look like they belong together is what I'm hearing. And, you know, they feel like that. That's like two people that want to get close. You know, and so in some cases they're saying, check and see where it's making you nauseous is what I'm hearing from somebody's guide. They're saying, you know, if it's all right here, that might be an indication if it's feeling good everywhere else, you know, and you're feeling it like in your heart center or like right here in the way that makes you feel confident with that person. Because you're going to get a feeling like if it's like in a lower area where it's like the pit of your stomach, you get like that dire, bad feeling, you know, then you might know that you're in a negative kind of way because of how your inner compass is pointing you. But they're saying some of you are going to be really excited. I was seeing the Triumph card showing up at the beginning of the air tribe, so I was like clearing the space. And so there might be a connection with a Cancerian person I'm hearing, or you might have Cancer in your chart like me. But I'm hearing in some cases it's like you're going to be surprised with how good it makes you feel. And you might come to realize later, what the heck was I stressing about? It was like you were just going in the right direction. It was kind of like you were almost like being hammered a little early because you were kind of putting yourself through the meat grinder, you know? So you're going to know if that's true when it happens, but they're saying just don't give yourself any undue agony in a mental way, because, look, I'm hearing that's actually you, for many of you, showing up in your own reading, feeling good. That's victorious. You might have somebody with you. I'm hearing that person might surprise you, actually, is what they're saying. And I'm hearing that in some cases, you might want to give that person a chance, because I'm hearing in some cases that person might have been like attached to something that's kind of given them like a persona, or in some cases, false judgments made against them for being like shadow character Don Juan, and it not really being real is what I'm hearing, and that it's kind of just like not really real, though. I'm hearing that person shows up, and so especially if it's like a new relationship, they're giving me a caution that the unhealthy thing here is superimposing whatever that bullshit nightmare was that maybe you left behind onto something that's really good and solid and steady and firm and built on just a level foundation is how they're telling me. So they're saying it will match. And so for some of you, you're going to get a sense. It's going to feel like it's integrating. If it feels like it's integrating you, they're saying, don't put yourself through the meat grinder, okay? You don't need to do that, is what I'm hearing. You're in control of this energy. So that's, just things to keep in mind. I mean, that can't be true for everybody, but, if these were showing up like this, then I would be like, oh, yeah, some of these marriages probably wreck right now. You got to get out of it. Maybe that's what you left behind, Maybe that's what you left behind, and so this might be hard to accept if it suddenly feels good. So, just pay attention to what's going on around you, Aquarius. But, especially if you're dealing with fire element people, they're saying that might be going pretty well. We're hearing there might be somebody that's kind of like annoying you, though. There's a strong air element showing up with this, too. This could totally be happening at the same time. And maybe in some cases, it's leaving one bad situation that felt like prison and bondage with somebody where there was like not enough light being shown in, is what I'm being told, for something that actually feels better. This could be happening at the same time. This could be leaving one dance partner for another. Dance partner. But yeah, this Trapped in Fear card, aka your Eight of Swords, that was showing up energy-wise with some of the other fire tribes. And they were saying for a lot of people, it's just how you're putting yourself through a little bit of, I'm not calling you out, I'm just telling you what the guide's saying. They're just saying unnecessary torture. And they're saying that, that's the modus operandi for a lot of air people too. It's like to just go to that mental area where we mince, we just mince the information and sometimes aren't feeling it as much. And they're saying if you can kind of learn to balance how you're feeling things, it's just going to be a lot better for you, because the mental energy stuff, the prison stuff, a lot of times it's just what we put ourselves through when we're not allowing ourselves to rest or self-care or to get into our body in different ways. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle Deck book and read to you what it says about that 8 Trapped in Fear card, aka 8 of Swords. This card reveals that it's actually your own fear that has immobilized you and trapped you, preventing you from making decisions or choices. You are the one who's holding yourself prisoner or hostage, and in order to continue your journey, you must face your fears first, so that new people and conditions can manifest. Many individuals choose to stay in this place because they can't see the road ahead. They feel a misguided sense of safety there, or they're afraid of starting something new. But staying will only add to your levels of stress and anxiety and create adverse effects in your physical body. Seek out wise counsel for assistance. You don't have to do this alone, but know that you possess all the tools that you need to free yourself. You're forgetting how strong you really are. This period will end when you use your mind to cut through the limitations caused by your emotions. And they're saying, you could be dealing with other people that have air in their constitution too. So it could be people that have, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, somewhere that have something to do with this. But I'm hearing for some people, it's just being afraid of getting, taken for a ride with somebody that maybe doesn't mean it, that just kind of puts on a show because maybe it feels good and it's scaring you based on, previous things that got hurt before. But one way or the other, even if you're going through all that, they're just saying here gently that your feelings, whatever they are, even if they're not romantic, whatever it is you're feeling, your feelings are real. They're worth exploring. And you can explore your feelings without acting on them. And people don't always think about that, but, you can kind of maybe graduate yourself into feeling more comfortable about your feelings if you can give your space to both places. You can give space to feeling it, seeing where maybe that connects with your mental stuff, and not necessarily feeling like you have to be so compelled that you just do anything. And they're just saying be gentle with yourself if that's the case, because, some people just kind of, will start bouncing between all the what ifs, and that can be very limiting. And in some cases, all you got to do is, put on your best, baby, and, go shake your tail feathers, go have a good time. They're saying you've got good, happy-making stuff here, and that some of y'all just need to, leave whatever was feeling like trapping you, because you've actually got a lot of light that's trying to come in, and they're saying some of y'all are just feeling, ready. So, I'm going to open up this Romance Angels book here and read you what it says on the romantic feelings. The stirrings within your heart represent the song of romance calling to you. This card comes to you as guidance to follow the pathway of those feelings. Perhaps you've met someone who made your heart leap, and you wondered whether to pursue him, her, or them. Well, this card says that the answer is yes. Take action by flirting, asking that person out on a date, or making your feelings known. If you've recently been longing for more romance in your life, this card is a signal to take charge of making that happen. You can romance yourself by, for example, treating yourself to luxurious massage or pedicure, buying yourself presents, or watching a romantic movie. You can also actively pursue and attract romance. First, affirm that it is already inside of you. A partner definitely brings these feelings to the surface. However, they were within you as a potential initiative. The more you affirm, I am romantically loved, the more you attract this condition within yourself and through a relationship. In some cases, you'll receive this card as a signal that you are ready for a new relationship. It then guides you to take action such as being aware of people you meet who may be potential partners, as well as frequenting places where such potential partners may be. These would be locations or events associated with your hobbies and interests. And I'm also hearing mutual friends. They're saying friend circles. We're getting 3 cups messages before. In the channeled section, there were actually 2 of them, and they're saying, for some of y'all, that might be what this is, finding out that somebody was double timing you, and needing to get on with it, and that just being kind of a little nerve-wracking. So I don't know, you might want to check that out. But in other cases, they're saying something about friend groups and new people that can come in that actually feel good. And I'm hearing in some cases there might be a gift. They're showing me somebody that showed up with a lot of flowers and just making somebody feel really good, and it being a surprise, and just being wow, cool. And in some cases, well, it makes you feel good. They're saying, maybe give it to yourself a little bit. There's a lot of good feels coming up here, and I'm seeing the flowers here. It looks like there were some flowers that were here. They're kind of holding the flowers up. There's flowers everywhere, and this guy's covered in flowers. He's some kind of fancy tuxedo. It's excuse me. It looks like he's got roses, right? But I keep hearing they match. They're saying something about them looking like they match together. So hopefully that's helpful for some of y'all. I'm going to go ahead and seal this one up here on the prayer and the practical advice to keep in mind about, anything that feels unhealthy and being ready to move yourself from that. So it's time to leave that unhealthy situation, Aquarius. Pray for us now. Dear Archangel Michael, what parts of my life do I need to focus on more closely right now? Thank you for helping me hear your answers and for giving me the courage to make healthy changes in my life. Amen. All right, Aquarius. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate all your support. You guys have been really wonderful to me, and appreciate your thumbs up and sharing my videos, and hit me up if I can do prayer or personal for you. And hopefully everything made sense. If I can do anything else, feel free to hit me up, like I said. And if not, I will just see you again in a couple weeks when I'm back for mid-monthly. And now I'm going to clear up just a little bit here. And then we're going to light a little bit of sage for Gemini and get started on their messages. Hey, what's up, Gemini? How you doing? Just going to light a little sage here for you. Going to flip your cards now. All right. Well, this card does not show up very often. This exact card showed up when I was clearing the space for the fire charged people. We're here. Some of y'all might be dealing with some fiery people who have some fire in your own natal constitution, in which case I'm going to highly recommend that you actually check the channel sections of both this video here for the air tribes and the fire tribes, because there's a connection for a lot of you, is what I'm hearing. And they're saying it's time for something new. So some of y'all need to know that. And they're saying some of you probably actually do. Got a third eye chakra showing up here. And just hearing, a lot of it has to do with, a lot of what, well, if you're not healing family issues this month, that this is sometimes why things are moving forwards. Because I'm hearing in some cases people are just have been very settled. They've been taking care of their own stuff. If this is you, Gemini, you got it going on. This is such a lovely, beautiful lady here. I don't say lady lightly. She, they, other, you're your own gender. If this is you, you know if that's you or not. Talking about the energy that's embodied here, not necessarily just, whether or not we perceive this person to be one way or another. This person here is very comfortable in what they have created and accumulated for themselves. When they're showing up like this, sometimes they're not feeling like so happy about it, or it's like a little bit more focused on like what might be missing and what they might be like calling in for themselves, what it is that's like, oh, what's that one thing that's missing? Boom, companion. In some cases, because something's healed, or maybe there's a certain kind of family healing that is desired. I'm hearing about just whoever that partner is that they want to call in. So it's not how I usually read this card. I mean, this card usually says, your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. Okay, great. And in other cases, I'm seeing like a single parent here with like 2 kids who's maybe like calling in, oh, wouldn't it be so nice if we just had like a mama, or whatever you might be calling in for a fresh start. So I'm just seeing something about here, just a good parent is what they're telling me. They're telling me about a good parent that in some cases would not be a likely good parent because maybe they didn't have such a great parent, is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing they might have had sort of like a kooky sort of situation they had to come up through, and getting a start being a parent and kind of almost being like a really awesome parent, because even though they've been single, and wanting something, they had different priorities. And I'm hearing that this might be a time where they're just kind of like, I'm ready for that. I want that. And wouldn't it be great? Little, whatever your kid's name is, if you have them, if we had a mama or a dad to come in, and just really being ready for that. So they're saying for some of you, it's like focus really closely on what it is that matters most, because they say some of you are just really in a place right now where it's just how you're focusing. And I just see them like focusing this. And in some cases, it's about how you've learned to be that companion for yourself. And that's maybe a cool way for a Gemini to look at it too, because, you know, you can kind of feel like you're swinging on that pendulum sometimes, you know, and it's like trying to find some balance with these things that might just kind of separate twins just wanting to go different ways. But they're saying in some cases, it's like, you know, it's like having learned how to unify that and get those two like in agreement with each other is what I'm hearing. And that's actually what's calling that in. So some of them, what I'm hearing is for some of you that if you can just focus that, it's going to help you call in whatever this fresh start is that you want, because they're saying you've learned a lot. And I'm hearing for some of y'all, you are seriously opening up right here, and that this is like a great month to make sure that whatever you're doing, make sure you're like giving yourself all that solar plexus stuff. I'm just seeing somebody who just really deserves to feel radiant, just deserves to feel like, I'm just going to say the one that I'm saying is she, because they're showing me somebody I would call she. Know your own gender. This could be anybody. They're just saying she's like putting herself in a way where she feels like her goddess, you know, because when she just feels like she's in her goddess, it's like that's when she has, you know, a clearer vision of what she's doing. So they're saying really focus on your solar plexus. There's a ton of yellow showing up here right now, and that would be a really good focal point for you. So I know that can't apply and specific to every single Gemini here, so I'm going to break these cards down just a little bit here and take them one by one. Your overall archetypal energy for the first part of April here, Gemini, is companion card using the Carolyn-based archetype cards. Light and shadow attributes here give us an idea of how situations might present themselves, as well as other people, if not yourself. So this particular card here says light attributes, loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. Shadow attributes state betrayal by misusing confidences and loss of personal identity. Definitely cautionary notes, especially if anybody's feeling triggered by something that might have felt like a repeat of the past, maybe with regard to upbringings. They're saying some of y'all are just going to see right through it, though. So make sure you're eating well. Make sure you're not... I'm hearing somebody needs to get off of aspartame. That's weird. I heard somebody's guide saying that... Okay. This might be really specific for one person. They're showing me somebody that's been trying to open this up here. You know, their third eye, their vision portal here. And they're showing me somebody like working out a lot. And they're wanting me to connect for you something about why this has been struggling. They're showing me somebody chewing a lot of gum, and they're saying, check your gum. It might have like a lot of like crap ingredients in it that's like known for messing with brain chemistry. And so you might want to look at things like ACE-K, sucralose, Splenda, and they were saying aspartame. I'm seeing like aspartame, and they're saying aspartame, it's aspartame, and be careful with the aspartame. Cut the aspartame. But they're saying that's actually going to help it. So if that rings for you, I recommend staying off of that stuff anyway. Artificial sweeteners, not for me. And there's really good reasons. I'm a cancer survivor too, by the way. And I can just tell you some of that stuff is absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. I would avoid it like the plague, but it is. I'm going to go ahead and open up the Carolyn-based archetype cards book for you, Gemini, and read to you what it says on the companion energy here where we have an expanded view. Alright, so we've got several keywords to keep in mind besides companion, and then they've given us 4 bullet points in a tip. Companion, friend, sidekick, right arm, consort, First bullet point says loyal, tenacious, unselfish. Second one says provides a symbolic service to a stronger or more authoritative personality. Third one says emotional rather than sexual support helps others focus on their mission. The last one says shadow companion manifests as betrayal, which damages the soul, or as suppression of your own needs. And the tip they want us to keep in mind says, look for a lifelong pattern of playing the loyal companion to others. They're saying for some people, that's how you were actually abused. I'm hearing something about some child abuse. And that's just being, real fresh for people. It's just like, I'm just seeing somebody being triggered, and child abuse can happen many different ways. Some of us have been abused physically, emotionally, sexually, spiritually. It could be so many different things. I'm hearing verbally for somebody a lot too, and that's what was keeping them down, and that right now, that's something that might be getting really triggered, and like wanting to call in good friends, and that this might be somebody just kind of maybe needing to take a deeper look into themselves, and maybe more kindly too. I'm getting all that yellow solar plexus stuff, because they're saying you're like really good. I'm like, this can't be everybody, of course. I'm seeing somebody that's like really good. I'm seeing somebody that's worked really hard. And they're actually saying, like, I'm seeing a single parent. Like, I'm actually seeing a guy now too. And they're just saying you've been really good. And it's like it was an unlikely situation is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing everybody thought you would be like down because of how it happened. And I don't know if you had like a kid early or something, but they're saying it's really easy for you to feel like, oh, something's missing. I'm not that good or whatever. And they're saying it's like you had a bully parent is what I'm hearing. And they're saying that this third eye chakra thing is like just a call for you to look further within into like your own soul and the things that you have done, because you've actually set yourself up pretty good. And they're saying even if it feels like it hasn't all come together, you've got a lot of good things around you. And it's because of how you have taken care of your situation, how you've learned to be the companion to yourself. And in some cases, I'm hearing the parent. I'm hearing people come to you, and it's like you might not be getting good credit for this. But here's what you need to know, Gemini. If this is striking as you, that's you. You're fertile. And I'm hearing you've had people like picking at your vines, like picking at you, or trying to take your stuff. And it's like in some cases, the reason why you've let it happen, they're saying emotional doormat. It's just like how your family's been treating you. And I'm really sorry. And sometimes it's a hard message to hear. And as somebody that's had to hear that myself about my family in different situations, many times from people when it was eating me alive and I was being kind of like destroyed, picked from my vines, right? It's hard to hear it sometimes. And sometimes if it's been so naturalized and normalized because it's just what you don't even realize that you're being like made into this doormat. And sometimes it's not until you keep finding these like maybe shadow character companion relationships that just trigger the hell out of us that, we realize, why do I keep getting in this like doormat situation with this person that runs all over me? Well, darling, sometimes that's just like the extent of the deep karmic repercussions that we've had to learn through in painful, slow-ass ways because of what was dumped on us as children by irresponsible, and in some cases, narcissistic family. Trust me, I totally get it. And I'm being told for some of y'all, just learning how to like analyze this a little bit differently might help you feel better, because they're saying that sometimes I'm hearing, whether or not you have any pentacles in your chart, any strong earth element, I'm hearing this is actually many of you. And that it's not like that you're not this, that this is more of like a self-perceived state because something is blocked in your own mind about who you are. And so some of you just need to know, whatever you've been waiting for to happen, look, big angel showed up to tell you, you got new beginnings and a fresh start. And they're telling me, some of y'all, somebody needs to get a different gum. They're telling me about your gum. They're saying your gum is not doing you any favors. Get a different gum, is what I'm hearing. No aspartame, no Ace K, no sucralose, no fake stuff. They're saying it's messing this up if you're working on your mediumship. They're saying get off of that stuff. It's toxic. And for other people, this could just be situations that are showing up with other people. Other people could be acting like that too. This is just like a great energy. This is somebody that's worked really hard, that's listened to their inner guidance, that little voice, They've set themselves up really well, and they're almost at completion. And so, the biggest risk here is like for whoever this person is, if they're feeling overturned for some reason, I'm kind of hearing that it's like, it's just they're not feeling like they're on their game, because it's like whatever it is that happened in the past. And so they're just saying it's real important to take a new vantage point. They're kind of showing it to me like the Hanged Man, but they're showing me like when the person gets off of the tree, So I'm hearing for some of y'all that's what this advice for this person, whoever that is. And then it could also have to do in some cases with, just people that normally would be grounded, that maybe have pentacles in their chart, that are maybe not acting so grounded, and just knowing how to kind of address them, because in some cases they might be having the family issues, and this might be somebody that's really worth investing your time in, because I'm hearing it might be somebody that's a really good companion or a potential. And you can fill in companion how you want. In some cases it might be romantic. In other cases this could be a friend, this could be a sibling, this could be like a cousin or something. But they're saying this is a good time to exercise discernment. And that's what I'm hearing associated with this card here that's showing up on the mental sector energy. Using the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, we've got the third eye chakra, your sixth chakra, showing up here. Book opened right up to the page. So they're saying this is a very strong message for some of you. I'm going to read it to you here. Key facts: color indigo, sound Om, element light, gland pituitary, keywords I see. This is the most often talked about of all the chakras, and clairvoyance or inner seeing. Intuition and higher levels of consciousness are all associated with this energy center. Found between your eyebrows and just above the bridge of your nose, it works closely with the throat and crown chakras and will assist you with your psychic and intuitive inner guidance. To balance the third eye chakra, I recommend that you practice walking meditations, breath work, yoga, tai chi, visualizations, and color therapy. Don't just focus on this one chakra as part of your development, as it's important to remember that they should all be in balance in order to work in unison and harmony. And I just keep hearing solar plexus. They're telling me for most of you, this is about how you're allowing yourself to see yourself and your own value. Especially if you have been, feeling in any kind of way like you were undervalued or underappreciated in some kind of way. It's just saying, family karmic BS on some of that for some of y'all. So you'll know if that's pinging for you. But I'm going to read to you what the book says on this, because for some of y'all, that's all that's keeping you back from even, making new friends is what I'm hearing. Because I'm hearing for some people, it's not even about a romantic companion. It's just kind of wanting to have, more intimacy or depth of companionship. It's maybe it's you just don't want, basic bitch friends is what I'm hearing. It's you're just okay, that's fine, you got stuff, yeah, you're grounded, you have all this, but it's what do you have here? It's I want that kind of friend, and feeling you don't really have it. And they're saying in some cases it's just because how you've been undervalued or perceived to be undervalued in your family over maybe just material stuff or stuff that some kind of I'm hearing a grubby person sort of made you feel like it wasn't good enough or whatever, that there was something making you feel inadequate. And they're saying it's just not even about anything other than just like wanting to have more depth in your relationships, and that if you can work on that solar plexus stuff, you're just going to find that you're maybe less nervous to open up in certain ways, because they're saying some of it's just like really about feeling sort of like jaded or like beat down from the past. And I'm seeing in some cases, you did have somebody that was very bullisome. Whether or not it was I'm seeing in some cases it was like a bad relationship. It ended up going bad. It was somebody that was like tearing somebody down is what they're showing me. And they're telling me it's just because, you have a feeling of being less value than you are. And it's just because you had somebody that was not very competent with how they raised you, and that now is a really good time for you to get real clear on who you are, honey, because I just keep seeing some really good people coming out and just needing to know you've got some backup, you got some new beginnings here, and now's a good time to just celebrate your light. Don't let yourself be feeling upside down. You got some third eye awakening stuff happening right now. Let yourself, put yourself upright, because you're in control of this energy. Because I'm being told that's a lot of you right here. I'm going to read to you what the book says on the healing family issues here. It says, your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. The answers to your prayers about your love life are based in your feelings about your mother and father. The romance angels see that you benefit from releasing old anger toward one or both of them. That's because your feelings about your parents influence your choice of romantic partner and the way in which you deal with relationships or let others handle you, is what I'm hearing. You can ask the angels to help you put forgiveness into action. To forgive someone doesn't mean that you're endorsing his, her, or their behavior. The angels would tell you rather that doing so is a form of deep emotional detoxification. It means I'm no longer willing to carry toxic energy within my mind and body. When you find inner peace with your parents, you'll no longer need to attract unhealthy relationship patterns and partners as a way of healing family emotional wounds. All of your relationships, especially the one you have with yourself, will benefit. And it's looking good to me here, guys. I just think, new beginnings and a fresh start, that's where they want you to end this. So I'm going to wind it up on that practical advice and the tip here with this prayer from Archangel Michael, Gemini, and just congratulate you on everything new that you have coming your way. All right? Here we go. Dear Archangel Michael, thank you for bringing new opportunities and offering support, and for helping me release and heal my past. Fill me with trust as I experience these life changes. Amen. All right, Gemini, that's what I got for you. I hope it made sense to you. I hope you liked it. I hope it really helps. And hit me up if I can do a personal reading for you. artolove.me. You can read about my services there. I've got everything linked below. You can also hit me up for a prayer if I can do that for you. And if I don't hear from you, well, hey, thumbs up, share it with a friend. Definitely appreciate it. And I'll see you again in a couple weeks when I'm back for your mid-monthly reading. So, bye for now. I'm going to clear up here just a little bit more, and we are going to light a piece of sage for Libra. What's up, Libra? Got a little piece of sage here I'm going to light for you. And then we're going to flip your cards. How's it going? I'm going to flip your cards here, Libra. Excuse me. All right. Awesome spread here. Give me 1 second. The video I was editing just finished. I'm just going to make sure it doesn't pop open on us here. Libra, where to start? Okay. I'm going to... There's a lot of information here. I'm going to go with... I'm going to start with your prayer card here. Honor and trust your feelings. You see that stuff shooting out of this person's chest here? Out of their solar plexus? Well, your solar plexus card showed up for your mental sector energy. And you got this guide energy filling up here. With this like person that's shining a light for others. It kind of appears out of the dark, maybe like an owl. And they're talking about your powers in manifestation. And I heard completion. But bam, bam. Really tough for me to pick a favorite card out of any deck, but especially one that I love so much is the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. This is completion. That's the last card of the majors. This is like everything all wrapped up in one. And they're saying some of y'all need to focus on your self-love. What some of y'all maybe aren't giving yourself enough of right now, it needs to just be full. You deserve to give that to yourself. Because they say you are on your path here, many of you, when you're following that, you're trusting your guidance, and that your powers of attraction, manifestation are huge right now. They're saying it's like, you got it. It's like you just know. It's like there's some guidance there. Or there's a guide working with you that's helping you call that all together. But I'm being reminded to tell y'all that you need to know and honor and trust that that's actually you. That's your light. And that some of you can own that because you're going to find some joy in that. And that some of you have been, I'm hearing holding out on yourself. They're saying holding out on yourself. I'm seeing somebody being way, way, way humble about all it is that they are doing and that they're pulling together for others. And it's like they're like this invisible character. There's like the floating head here and, they're doing all this stuff. And I'm hearing that person needs to fill up that emptiness inside of them with that light that's actually shining out of themselves into others, that others are drawing on to help them pull things together, because that's your attraction power, Libra. Your attraction power. There's things some of you either know it or you need to know that this is a good time to fill it all up right here. So I think that applies to a lot of you is what I'm hearing. And I'm actually going to break these down card by card because can't be for everybody, sure, but I'm hearing a lot of y'all just need to know that too. So let's start with your archetype card for the first part of the month here, Libra. This is the guide card using the Carolyn Mason archetype deck. These cards give us light and shadow attributes that overall offer pretty good situational awareness clues as to how things might be playing out in our life, as well as how others, including ourselves, might be tempted to demonstrate our energy. This card states, light attributes represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. Shadow attributes state, places financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. I'm hearing for some of y'all, that might be why some people are kind of backing away and not wanting to take credit to. I'm hearing in some cases, somebody might have seen how others were misusing spiritual gifts, is what I'm hearing, because they had an over-inflated sense of self. I'm hearing about, if they just said a freaking egomaniac, I'm hearing about somebody that's just in it for money is what they're saying, and how somebody here saw what others didn't perceive, because this person can kind of travel in and out and has like the ability to view things with their light. And that they've got really good sense, judgment, discernment, and that they saw somebody who was, I'm hearing, stealing things by abusing spiritual gifts, because I'm hearing they were a freaking egomaniac. I'm hearing about somebody that was put up to it, and that it's like right now that this completion here is kind of like, it's like they're showing me, it's almost like a contract was fulfilled. They're just showing me somebody like grabbing these two sticks here, and it's like they're turning into like scissors, and they're like cutting these cords that are around them, and it's because they're like, somebody is like, just, I'm hearing, out of their depth. That's interesting. I'm hearing somebody was out of their depth, and I'm hearing somebody is like cutting out of the situation. And, it's, I'm just seeing them breaking free from whatever this is, and it's like, it sets them free where they can like move more freely. It's kind of an interesting image they're showing me. I'm going to go ahead and open up the Carolyn Mace Archetype Cards book for you and show you that guide card in an expanded definition here, Libra. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cough. So there's several other keywords to keep in mind besides guide, and we've got 4 bullet points in the tip here, Libra. Guide, guru, sage, crone, wise woman, spiritual master, evangelist, and preacher. First bullet point says teacher of religious beliefs and practices, as well as the spiritual principle of seeing the divine in every aspect of life. Second one says you don't have to be a professional preacher or guru to have this archetype. The third one says crone, wise woman, and sage represent the ripening of insight and acceptance of what is. The last one says shadow guide manifests in televangelists, gurus, and priests who place financial gain and sexual gratification over imparting spiritual insight. The tip to keep in mind says, look for a continuing pattern of guiding others based on your own spiritual insights. In some cases, I'm hearing that's exactly what you're doing. Keep on your path. Know that you're, standing in your light. Feed a healthy sense of ego while you're doing this. They're saying you're not an invisible person. Some of y'all have been working really hard. I'm hearing you do everything for everybody. You've really shown up as the world to others. In some cases, like the glue that held it all together. In other cases, really strong indication about that, like false prophet sort of person. I'm hearing about somebody that literally just like spies on others. They're showing me somebody that like sends eyes somehow or communications to like spy and steal from others. And that person is kind of out of their depth is what they're saying, because it's just like all this like glorified sense of self, like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. I just see this person like gloating and just being like too much is what they're saying. They're saying you might be dealing with a Leo. I keep hearing Leo. They're just saying like blowhorn. Like it's just like somebody, like a blowhorn, just somebody that's just like trying to suck things from other people. And I heard they're like a gaping sinkhole of need is what I heard. And it's just like they just suck on your like essential energy, like sucking on your chi, and it's like almost like you're not there. And it's like sucking away your energy. It's like, oh look, you're like the talking head person. It's like, oh my god, where's my body? Oh, I have no energy. It's because somebody's like sucking it out of me. And it's somebody just being like, needing to know, take care of your own self. You are attracting so many amazing things right now. you've learned so much from this. They're saying in some cases that it's like, it's just time. I'm hearing it's like, whatever this old cycle is or long cycle, this is a 21 here, right? That could be, it could be 21 years for somebody, sure. I'm hearing something about a 21st birthday present that, somebody maybe doesn't want anymore. But in other cases, that could be 3 too. 21 is 3, right? And then we got another 3 here. I was hearing about something with third parties at the beginning too, an attraction. You're going to have to pay attention, but I checked the channel messages if you think there might be a third party, and you're seeing something in about an Aquarius, and the Aquarius card did show up in the channel section, so if you did miss that, you might want to check it. But in other cases, look, they're just saying that it's like whatever you've really been working for and this like completion, they're saying it's a good time to just know that it's here and you can trust it, especially if it's something you've been actively working to attract into your life, whatever it is, whatever part of your life this applies to. This is a general reading, so you're going to have to know that part for yourself. But they're saying, represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. Whatever that is, it's showing up in your physical material realm, upright, and there's a lot of energy behind it for you to take the time to feel good about what you're attracting, and honor and trusting your feelings. You're going to get a hit, especially right here in your gut, in your spirit, man, if it's not feeling right. And they say it's important to know because something's coming to a completion here. And in some cases, I'm hearing about somebody that passed over that is providing support and that is acting sort of as guide or like overseer. And in some cases, you just need to know that you can like trust your feelings. And in some cases, I'm hearing it's because there's like literally like almost like angelic, showing the angelic communication that's coming down. It's helping somebody feel good. And they're saying, you know what, that's yours and you deserve to feel that. And it's very real. And I'm hearing, just make sure you're not letting people like get in your head and like chip away at you like, oh my God, you're crazy, and making you like not feel good about something awesome that you're doing and feeling. Just because some people are very basic, and the first thing they'll do is try to stab somebody right in their sense of ego about stuff. So be careful who you're telling sensitive things to, especially if you're in the process of completing something very major, where you deserve to shine for what you've done and your accomplishments. And that's going to resonate for somebody, I hear, very strong. So just keep it in mind, especially if you had somebody trying to like chip away at you or take something away from you, like in a money sort of way. So they're also saying, well, there's the Aquarius again. I'm seeing Aquarius, Leo, Taurus here, and I don't know who is the eagle. Who plays the eagle here? There's many different characters that could be showing up here, but we're hearing that you're going to know which ones are feeling right for you. But I'm hearing something about people spying on others, because I keep seeing people like trying to get through these gates here, and this person protecting, and somebody that's knowing that something right wasn't happening about an attraction and like a third party, and in some cases needing to have the self-esteem to speak up about it. And they're saying that's going to be really important for somebody feeling good, because in some cases, that's what's affecting your love life. And I'm hearing you might have attracted something that you want, and you deserve to enjoy it, whether it's romance or not, because it doesn't have to be romance attraction, but your powers of manifestation are working now. I'm going to read to you what the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle Deck book says here on the solar plexus chakra, and I just want you to keep in mind too that in this like big deck of, I think there's like 65 cards. I think there's 65 cards in this deck here. There's only 7 chakra cards, and so just like from mathematical probabilities, there's a far lesser chance of pulling one of these than even one of the major arcana in this deck. And so these for me are like the majors in the deck sometimes, and they cover a whole lot of energy. So Really important to keep this on your mind because it's going to help you self-care in a way that I think is going to feel really good because there's some awesome energy for you guys to enjoy if you let yourself, is what I'm hearing. So here's what they say about the solar plexus chakra card. It's the third chakra. Key facts: color, yellow; sound, Ram; element, fire; key glands, pancreas and adrenal; keywords, I can. The solar plexus chakra is located between the navel area just below the rib cage. It represents power, vitality, willpower, self-esteem, and confidence. The energy center where your emotions and feelings are recorded. The chakra is associated with clairsentience, inner feeling, which is a major psychic reception area. To balance the chakra, you may want to try yoga, dance, and movement, or breath work with color. In addition, be aware of people who drain your energy. Workshops and classes that focus on empowerment will help you open and harmonize this area. And in some cases, I'm hearing that's what this is. It's just saying, it's like learning how to block and shield others from just sucking on you. Because I'm here, you might have some vultures that are just coming after you is what it feels like sometimes. And this is like somebody that's blocking it, and protecting their energy because they see what's happening. So I was also hearing something about somebody going for a surgery. They were saying something about yellow bile and just being, in some cases you're going to, if it's an emergency and people have to go. Just keep in mind too, Mercury retrograde's coming up, and in some cases, if there are elective things that we can schedule around periods of time where maybe there's less technical issues that tend to happen more often, that this might be a recommendation to hold off, is what I was hearing. And they were also saying for somebody, just be careful you're not burning the clock, is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing somebody just burning the clock is what they're saying, because I'm seeing just people being really attracted to them and needing guidance constantly, and somebody being having adrenal fatigue and just being really tired and needing to just lay down and be just sleep, and just freaking sleep. And so you're going to know if that's the case, but I'm hearing for some of y'all, around the Mercury retrograde time too, if you can chill on some communications and not have to be stressed out by people that are in some cases just sucking all your golden light, you might just want to get some rest. And so, and in some cases, that might be with somebody really special that you want to rest with, that you might have attracted into your life. Because they're saying some of y'all have attracted some love into your life, and that you just need to take some time to enjoy it. And I'm hearing for somebody, it's about taking a trip. They're saying something went wrong. I'm hearing about something that went wrong that's been causing somebody emotional stress about how they see themselves. And it has to do with, whatever guide means to you, and that you need to take some time to yourself or with that person. And they're saying now might be a really good time to do it. I'm here to stop and smell the roses. And who got that? Somebody actually did just get that card. You might be dealing with a Sag or have Sag in your chart. Sagittarius got that same attraction card too, so you might want to go back and watch the fire tribes. But I'm going to read you what the Dream Virtues Romance Angels Oracle Cards book says on the attraction. Just that some of y'all might have called something good, and you might want to take some time and enjoy it. I'm hearing in some cases it might be somebody that is challenging your, sense of self, because I'm hearing that person might be the world to you. I'm hearing, they're all that, and that in some cases it's oh my God, can I do this? And they're saying, you know what? Trust your gut that you're good is what I'm hearing, Trust your gut that you're worthy. Because I'm hearing in some cases, you know what? If you called something good in Libra, good on you. Here's what the book says. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. Like a good friend, the romance angel sends you this card to tell you the truth. The best way to have more romance in your life is through attraction rather than through strenuous effort. You are most attractive when you're fully enjoying yourself in the present. Your joyful laughter, self-expression, and body language are beautiful. In contrast, any stress you experience as you strain to find romance pushes against the stream of life. Strain comes from a place of fear with an underlying worry. Maybe I won't receive this. That fear then attracts the very thing that you worry about. Stress creates wrinkles, bodily tension, a constricted voice, and other unattractive characteristics. So, go smell a rose and fully enjoy its fragrant beauty. Allow yourself simple pleasures that lead to great joy. Affirm frequently that you are loved and lovable. Visualize a wonderful romantic relationship with a great partner and take excellent care of yourself and follow your inner guidance. Via the law of attraction, you'll draw romantic love to you through your own attractive nature. If you do so want that. And I'm hearing in some cases you did. And it showed up. And it might be everything that you've ever wanted to. There's completion here. So trust your inner guidance. I'm hearing some of y'all have awesome inner guidance, and now's a really good time to just work with that. And there's another reminder of that. Honor and trust your feelings. I'm going to leave you on that practical advice, the tip, and I'm going to seal it up with this prayer from Archangel Michael, Libra, and I'm just going to wish you a beautiful start to your April. All right, here we go. Dear Archangel Michael, thank you so much for supporting, guiding, and protecting me as I listen to and act upon my feelings. Help me understand and express my emotions with love. Amen. All right, Libra. I hope you liked that reading. I hope it made sense to you and that you have a fabulous time. Hit a brother up if I could do a personal reading for you or hook you up with private prayer. And if not, just thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Appreciate it every time you share my videos with your friends. And hey, I'll catch you again in a couple weeks when I'm back for your mid-monthly reading. So take care. God bless. See you.